Before we begin, thank you very much to the Plastic Addict theme you fired. Can I have my job back? For joining the Patreon campaign, look, if you want your job back, just get in line, hand me a resume, you know, like, I don't know what to do for you, like, I'm not going to let you butt in line, sorry. But thank you very much for the support. The month of January is the hardest for content creators. Ad revenue is at its absolute lowest of the year, so everyone on Patreon, you're doing me a lot of good, and I appreciate all of you for helping me out. Also, I do apologize if I'm a little bit off today. I went to bed with a rough throat, which is gone now, but I've got aches and fatigue, and I'm probably coming down with something, but the grind has to keep grinding, so here we go. Let's talk about the news for the week, starting with a lot of code names for Transformers 1's toy line. Now, as with code names, we have no idea. We can only make wild guesses as to which character is which in all of these. But we can at least glean a little bit of how much product we're getting and how many gimmicky things we're getting. So there's 4 figures named Prime Changer, Admiral, Alphabet, Sergeant, and Ace. I'm willing to bet a lot of these are ranks in army, like army ranks, Admiral, Sergeant, Corporal, etc. I'm willing to bet Admiral is going to be Optimus Prime. There's another one that says Ace, and Ace appears a lot. I'm betting that's Bumblebee. Beyond that, we don't know. You know, Overlord, you can make a pretty good guess. That's going to be Megatron. But beyond that, we're just kind of guessing. We don't know what a Prime Changer is. I'm assuming it's the largest class because you put the word Prime in it. We have also Mega Changer. I don't know why that's worse than a Prime Changer, but I'm assuming it is. The 2-in-1 masks. We're getting the transforming masks again. No clue who it is. Cybertron launchers. Okay, we haven't had a launching thing in a while, so that's going to be a thing. Robot Battlers multi-pack. Okay. Power flip. So we've got some auto changers most likely. More battle packs. So probably just generic multi-pack. Probably of like simpler figures. Cog One Step. And Ace, Rounder, Capital, Overlord, Admiral, Sergeant, a lot of the big name. So a lot of these that are repeated a lot are gonna get one-step changers. Let's see, battling figures, Sergeant, battling figures, Ace, Alphabet, Corporal. So battling figures, another thing. Halfback, which is another one. Now we're going into football, and then Platoon High Commander. That's a rather grandiose name. Ultimate Energon Admiral. Now that makes me really think it's Optimus Prime. Energon Reveal OP. Power Glow Ace. Racing Bot Shot. I genuinely wonder if they're actually throwing bot shots in. Racing Blast, Racing Warrior, and Race Changers. So I assume there's going to be a difference between them. The Warriors are listed as a 3-pack. Changers a 2-pack. They're doing something different with this one. A lot of the verbiage in this, like puts me in mind of like almost like Hot Wheel toys with like launching cars. I don't know if I'm off on that or not, but it's definitely something. There's definitely something different going on with this toy line. So all we can do is wait and see. This movie's due late this year, so I'm sure we're gonna see something about this sooner than later. You know, because they're going to want to roll out the hype train pretty big, considering this is going to be the first animated movie and it's going to do a lot of different things. Hopefully they promote it out. You know, hopefully it's not like an Earthspark where it's just like, oh, well, yeah, whatever. You never know with Hasbro these days. But let's get into some things that we actually have seen and that we can actually take a look at. One of them is the brand new Gears, which dropped out of nowhere. We were in the middle of recording a new episode of WTF at TFW podcast while this dropped, so we got to talk about this when it was super fresh, but the episode will probably take a few weeks to get online, so kind of superfluous. But yeah, we have a brand new look at Gears. After being canceled in Kingdom, now we have a proper Gears toy on the way. One more for the upscale deluxe mini bots, which always great to see that collection increase. I was legitimately expecting this to just be a retool of Brawn, because part of me was like, Why would you make 2 small deluxe trucks? You know, and would it be a great match? No, but you could get away with it. But no, completely new molding, completely new figure. Doesn't seem like it reuses anything. It's pretty spot on to how he looked in the show. A lot, like someone did a side-by-side of the animation model with the toy images, and it's actually pretty close. It's like surprisingly close. So, very, very cool. Very, very cool. Glad to actually see that another year 1 character is finally getting a decent update. The back of the packaging shows off that he has a lifting chest gimmick. That being from Gears 1 episode, literally changing gears, where Megatron needed a part out of him. So that is the part. That's the scene where he gets the part removed. It's weird because it's one of those, like, it happened once in the show, so it's going to be a gimmick kind of thing that they normally only do for Masterpiece. Apparently they had room in the budget to do it here. Weird. But cool to see Gears added to the lineup. You know, and that just leaves you wondering, you know, Swerve can be on the way. You know, we got probably one of the G1 Minibot, like the G1 GoBot things. That one, the Smallfoot. There's a lot of potential to this toy. Another one that was just shown off in Japan, we have another Trainbot, which is kind of surprising. So this is Gino, MPG 07, and it is based on a famous train in Japan, a diagnostic train called a Dr. Yellow. So it's a very well-known train, and again, remember, these are marketed to train enthusiasts as much as they are Transformer fans. So not a surprise that they would want to keep it going, or that they would go for a few more popular and well-known trains. I'm not gonna lie, it's an ugly color on a toy. It's the exact color of if you left it out in the sun for about 10 years. What's interesting about this to me is that it's number one, it's got this big boombox accessory. And that might seem weird and out of place unless I can get to like an actual like torso mode of it. Yeah, that looks good. That looks like it's correct. Yeah, there we go. So, number one, the deco on this is trying to imitate the alternate color of Raiden from Diaclone. What we got in Headmasters as Raiden was only one of 2 color schemes those trains were released in. So no surprise they would want to tackle the repaint and get as much out of these molds as they can. So the chest looks far closer to that version. The thing to note though is that big boombox thing, it's a waist extender. It actually ups the size of the torso to give Raiden better proportions. And if you want your Raiden to stop looking so like squat and dumpy, you now have to spend another $160 on another train. Ha ha ha. It does leave me wondering if they're going to do the other ones, because the Dr. Yellow is a very specific and unique train in Japan. So they might just be doing that just for the sake of like putting out another popular train and getting the upgrade part out there. We don't know. Whether they do the other the Diaclone versions, don't know. All right, let's look at some behind-the-scenes stuff, starting with Mohawk for the Studio Series Core series. Doesn't Core just seem like it was made for a character like this? Like, there's no other way of doing a character that small. It looks like they got as close as they could for how small a Core class figure can be. You know, they did their best to put the blades on the arms. It does look like, it looks like the little green details are in the right spot outside of, I think the Mohawk itself has it incorrect. I don't know. It's missing that board. If you look on the left side, his right leg has a nail board tied to it. That's not on the toy. Cry inaccurate. Also, the baby doll head is not strapped to his hip. Dr. Wu, I'm looking at you. Give me upgrade. Give me upgrade baby head. But the toy itself doesn't look too bad. I'm not really big on Studio Series movie toys, but it's not a bad-looking little motorcycle transformer. Strangely enough, it seems like motorcycles really are kind of like a bread and butter for Core Class, because they seem to come out pretty good. And yeah, it's a fun little thing. Now, number one, we see that they did add in a few details like his grill, his gold teeth are there, complete with where the Decepticon emblems would be. And yes, his head is removable. That'll tell you your most famous scene in the movie is when your only action feature is dying. But it's a fun thing. It's a fun thing to include. It's a 5mm peg, I think, so you can just like stick a effect part onto his body like it exploded. I don't know, you could have some fun with it. He doesn't look too bad. Like if I see him in person, I might grab him, maybe. We can look at another behind the scene, which is a little bit more up my alley, which is the Origin Wheeljack. It was an upcoming Target exclusive Voyager class toy. Strangely enough, not listed as buzzworthy. It's just a store exclusive. But apparently in robot mode, it does scale well to everybody else. It does come with the blast shield. I previously missed that the last time we talked about this toy. But he does come with the blast shield for his vehicle mode, which can convert into like a track for him to run on, which is nice to add a little bit of play value. You can also see he does have clips for Bumblebee's energy rods, so he can actually store and transport those as well. The inside is the interesting part, because Bumblebee actually can fold up and fit inside. He has to squash. He has to squash to get in there, but it's cool that they made it happen. You know, and then, yeah, the blast shield can actually go on top, just like in the original cartoon. Mark, what are you doing to me? Why are you using a normal Seeker for this scene? You got to have a Siege Seeker around, please. No, but it's cool to do. It's cool to see. Apparently, the discs at the front can also come off and peg onto other characters. They call them Dominator discs, which is a little, I don't know. It's always one of those like Autobot things. It's like that's a little iffy, I think. You can see, like, in vehicle mode, yeah, he definitely shows his size. It looks great with all the other Origin figures. And then in robot mode, everything collapses down to just be a very bulky take on Wheeljack so he can be the same height as Jazz. So you're paying Voyager price for, you know, what is essentially a deluxe that explodes and balloons in vehicle mode. And I don't think there's any way you could have avoided that to get everything in that this toy has to be. So I don't mind it. I don't mind it. This is a special case, and it's probably the only way this particular iteration of Wheeljack would ever happen. So, cool to see that it's actually coming out. I'm looking forward to this one. Let's go into Yolo Park, because I can't go news update without mentioning Yolo Park. TFW 2005 posted their photos of their upcoming AMK mini line, which does look fantastic. I'll tell you, these are extremely well articulated for their price. I think they're very well sculpted as well. Very simple to put together. I have a video already recorded, just waiting for approval before I can post it. So stay tuned to the channel. You will get a close look at these, and they are good. They are quite good. I'm very happy with them. To spoil the review a little bit, but no, they are great little desktop size figures. I mean, I look at how articulated they are, and I'll tell you, they're dead solid too. You like compare that to like what you're getting out of like a Reactivate figure, which is smaller, more expensive, and less articulated. If I just want a non-transforming representation of a character on my desk, it's going to be one of these, because it's just all around better. But that's for a later date. We'll go into these in detail. Yeah, you can see they're good. They're good. Let's see what China's whipping up for us. So, Tong Shifu is doing more of their copper statues of Transformer characters, this time going for a far more Chinese aesthetic than we had previously. These things are huge. Like, for metal sculptures, metal statues of Transformer characters, these things are gigantic. And they've announced and released more of these before. They did Rise of the Beast ones. So I'm presuming they do well, because here they are, and they're still making more. Sculpt is really cool on them, I'll say that. I know, I'm not sure about the warrior aesthetic to a lot of them. But no, it's a neat take. It's a neat take. It's actually very interesting to see that these things apparently do sell, because, you know, look at this side, look at this, how tiny his hand is. yeah, I just scroll through these the whole time. Megatron is going extra. Megatron is way extra in this one. All right, so I'll leave you to look at the rest for yourself because kind of sick. I'm not gonna. I need to get through this video, but also, yeah, they just look really, really neat. There's a new commercial out for Paramount Plus featuring a whole bunch of their characters, but also Optimus and Scourge from Rise of the Beast. And I'm not gonna lie, it's actually kind of funny. It's actually kind of a funny little thing. I like when they do little goofball things like this. It's weirdly enough, it's one of your best looks at Scourge's animation model. Because it's done up in like bright mountain, snowy white mountains. So I'll leave you to watch that for yourself. I'm not going to play it here because, yeah, I don't want to get flagged. But it's a fun video. It's a fun little advertisement. And to wrap us off, just in case you're still in a Halloween mood in January, someone found these Transformer masks at Dollar Tree. They're not that great. They're not that great. Obviously, they're child-sized. Yeah, but it's just a generic little mask toy that you can get for a very cheap price. So if you collect the oddball stuff, here's a little bit more for you. And that is going to do it for the news roundup. Well under our usual 20 minutes because, yeah, kind of a slow news week. We've had a lot of slow news weeks since Christmas, but you know, I'm expecting with Transformers 1 coming out, and now United is dropping. I'm expecting a bit of a shake-up in the news. So we'll wait and see then. And as always, I will see you next time.